So I wanted to kind of fill in some holes, things that I've thought of. Oh, okay. We moved in, and I told Judy, I said, I will take care of my own internet. I wanted my own. I wanted to be the one to call them 3 o'clock in the morning. I didn't have to call them to say, our internet's fucked up, and so I said that right up front. And next day, they're coming out installing internet, and I'm paying half of it. And so I paid half of it for 3 or 4 months, and something happened, and I just happened to pay the whole bill one month. I just, I'm going, because I've been giving her half, whatever the electric was, internet, we're paying the garbage. Anyway, so she construed it. I go over the next time to sit there and pay our half of the bills, whatever share they were. They were not fair half. What their game was is they would talk Madelyn into paying the whole bill, and then she didn't care, man. She had a really weird thing about money. She didn't care. And, she let people take advantage of her. She was stupid in a couple ways. Madelyn, you trusted me, and that was placed faith. But, other people, man, they took advantage of that with you. That was one of your only falls that I ever came across. You were the most positive person I ever saw. You were a half full kind of girl. Mersad did not walk upstairs and shoot himself. I just can't see having a pleasant evening with you and saying that's it. And so Judy, man, we're sitting there, and she goes, okay, so you're going to pay the whole bill. And I said, no, I'm not. And she gets, I don't know, bent, or she's like said that said I would. And I'm like, no, I never did, man. And I just kind of went, the hell with you guys. And I said, I'll get my own internet. And I got my own internet. And, she sat there, and, I don't know, we were discussing this with Madelyn in our living room. And I'm sitting there, and I'm going, just God bless you, and may you be happy and healthy and prosperous. Again, I'm praying for these fucking people, you bitch, man. And that's the one thing I like about that prayer is you can add you bitch and it still works. I learned that in AA, man. I'm sitting there time and again going to these people, God bless you and may you be happy and healthy and prosperous, and, with something else. And they'd screw Madelyn, man. They would talk her into paying all the bills, and they were not paying anything. And that was their MO, and that's what they tried to do to me. And that's when I realized, this is 5 months into us living there, in the middle of the summer of 2019, and I realized what they've done to Madelyn, and the whole time, and telling her that they were going to sell Rusty 85 acres and do all this stuff, and Rusty wasn't going to partition it off, and that was her main thing, and that never took place. And anyway, when I said that prayer to Judy, she's sitting there in front of Madelyn, and she turned and she looked at me and she goes, well, that's not very Christian. And I'm sitting there going, I want to call you a fucking bitch, you C word. And, what do you tell me? That's not very Christian? Really? First week I move in, Dell approaches me and goes, I'm a Christian man, and I'm going, okay. And I talk to Madelyn. She goes, they go to church. They belong to some church, I don't know, some funky church. It's not anything that I've ever heard of, but, some church towards Port Angeles. And I don't believe in the 11 and a half months I lived there, they ever left on Sunday morning to go to church. I didn't either, but, that, another lie that Dell told me, it was just one of those things to placate you so they can, stab you in the stomach or in the back, at a later date, because you're not expecting it, your guard is down. And thank you, Mom, because my guard was always up. My guard was never down with them. One of the small things that saved me. And Dell said, there was wood, and I was telling him I would split it if, just split whatever he had there. They had a squatter on the neighbor's property is what I think was happening to this lady named Jen. And the deal was that Dell said was she had bought it, and she was going to build a cabin there, and the land had been bought by some warehouser company and logged out, and just there was still tree trunks and stumps and all kind. It wasn't, there was like a road up through the middle of it, but, I don't think this Jen had bought it. I think they were going to squat on it. She was going to build a house on there and squat on it. And that's why Dell had that excavator. The deal was he could take all the wood if he cleared it for her. Excuse me, I'm making my cup of coffee. That had to hurt. I'll try to watch that next time. I will know. So, I'm a Christian man. Okay, we love Madelyn. I just rang true in my gut. Yeah, you're a Christian man. So anyway, this wood thing came up, and it was the middle of winter. I'm trying to get wood just to burn, because I can go buy it. It's no big deal. But there's wood on the property, and I made a deal with them, and I go, I'll split half of it and keep half of it and throw half on your pile. And he's going, okay. And then I go out to, he's out there one day. I'm walking there with my axe and hatchet, and I'm going, okay, I'm gonna get started, do this. And he goes, I'll give it to you for $100. And I'm going, I said, and he had this little excavator thing that was, it was the little one on the tracks that, the real small one that, pick up little stuff. And I asked him just if he would put it over the fence. And he's going, no, I'm not going to do that. And, then later I'm bitching at Madelyn about her. He's sitting there or whatever. I bring it up, and I'm like, we had a deal, man. I split 50% of it. I'd take care of my own wood. It's like, well, we had a fucking deal, you motherfucker. And he had the audacity to tell me, well, I'm a man of my word. And I am like going, yeah. Long in there, man, he called me that California boy. And it just tickles my ass with the feather, man, because I am not a California boy. I lived there for, 28 years, but I am not a California boy. Grew up in Connecticut. It's harder back there. The people are harder. It's, they're different. They're arrogant. They have a something to them. And, it wasn't New York that I grew up in, but it was, that culture back there that they have. Yeah, anyway, Mirsad Sarek. When Madelyn died, it was like just so important that I had committed, or had fulfilled my commitment to myself, to her, in every way, shape, or form. Thank you, God. You let me do that. Everything I wanted, he gave me, that I wanted for Madelyn, I got to do. When she married me, when she said yes, it surprised me, and it spiked everybody's guns. But she died, and being able to look at myself in the mirror for the first time and not be ashamed, and pour a little more water in my coffee, that was a blessing. If I die today, I've been blessed 7 times 7 times 7. Thanks, Ernie and Jim. You guys were an inspiration for me back then to delve into Christianity the way I did. And Ernie, I'd walked through the door to Christ, but I hadn't closed it behind me. And with Ernie, I closed the door behind me. I always am grateful for that, Ernie. I hope you get to see this, Ernie. This is me. This is what I've turned out to be, the man I am. So I realized soon after that, I knew that Mirsad Sarek had been sent home a suicide. He was buried back in Bosnia somewhere. I don't know if he was a war hero or not, but it had to be a big deal. Okay, my sobriety date in AA is July 8th, 2013, or 2000. My sobriety date is July 8th, 1984. I got Mirsad on the mind. Okay, I had a couple heart attacks 4 years before I moved up here. My mom, from the moment my first heart attack, she's trying to talk me into come up here, and she'll take care of me. And she knew I was homeless down there and all that shit that I'd gone through, lost my business, my marriage, all that stuff. Fucking Colleen, man, that was wasted effort. But I learned what I needed to learn through that. So I can't. I learned. It became really, really important for me to let his family know that Mirsad Sarek did not commit suicide. His family name does not have dishonor on it. when I was thinking about what do I have to do to prove these people and what they are. Do I have to die? Then so be it. But you know, I'm the only one that knows that Mirsad Sarek didn't commit suicide. I'm sure it would be like my dad going into another country and getting shipped home, you know, suicide, gunshot wound to the chest. You know, I'm going, no, that didn't happen. My dad, I just don't see that. It would have been like me walking upstairs and putting a hole in my chest, you know. 4 heart attacks, the last place I'm shooting is my heart. What he went through in the war in Bosnia, that you know, I don't see him ending his life by putting a bullet in his chest. I mean, he had no qualms about death. He'd lived in the middle of it. That guy, man, I can't imagine. I mean, 'cause it kind of blew me away when I heard his story, and I went, Madelyn, you know, married this guy, and it was like, wow, man, you know, us Americans, we have our, you know, prejudices, and you know, you hear the word Muslim and you go, oh, you know, you put them in the category, and you know, I'm sure they do the same to us. And you know, I kind of after a time realized he must have been a good guy. I mean, Mirsad, there must have been something about him, and you know, all he did was sit around and watch soccer. Man, as Madelyn said, she had to negotiate time for baseball and football. And you know, it's also funny, man. Madelyn and I'd be sitting there, I'd be playing my stupid game or on my computer doing something. And, you know, she's in there watching college football, college basketball, man. Just turn the game on and start watching it and get into it. And it's like, you know, I was like, yeah, I like sports, but, you know, I just can't get into it that much. So anyway, Mirsad Sarek, it became very important for me to let his family know. What I really want to do is talk to his kids. I don't remember his daughter's name. His son's name is Vincent Sarek. He's in Spain. Obviously, you know, out after Bosnia, they're probably all over everywhere, you know, end up in the United States. I finally, what did I do? I think I went on White Pages and I found his brother's Lattimore Sarek, and if I ever have him in front of me, he and I have a matter of honor to discuss. That I talked to him, and I just can't believe what he said. I just couldn't believe what he said about Madelyn. But anyway, I talked to him. I'd written this email that I was meant for Vincent. You know, it was kind of like, you know, I'm this American who, you know, he saw his father. He buried his father. He saw the death certificate. You know, he's going, yeah, right. You know, thank you, America. You know, and it is like one of the most important things to me now is that Vincent's or father's honor, is restored. That family's honor, their name is restored, because he did not commit suicide. He was murdered by Rusty Sage. You know, Madelyn was my mission. She was absolutely my mission. You know, she was my purpose in life. It was really clear cut for me. That was, you know, I knew what to do. I could take care of her. When those first days after her death, man, and everything came cascading down of all these little things that had happened, and I realized, man, it was like an epiphany after epiphany after epiphany, and it just was like washing over me. I've read about it in a book, you know, a science fiction book at that. You know, guy dies, they bring him back to life, and that's how his memories come back, and that's what it felt like, man. It's that was totally bizarre, man, and I was in abject fear and running for my life, and I I've talked about it. I went through PTSD, man. You know, I wonder what. I wonder if Miro, that was his nickname, or that was his name. Miro, they called him. So Madelyn called him Miro. I wonder if he was totally clueless about what he was facing living up there. You know, his brother accused Madelyn of killing 4 husbands, or his brother being one of them. You know, he didn't say Black Widow. I don't even know if I just said Black Widow if he'd understood what I meant. You know, but you know what I mean, Black Widow. And Madelyn, nah, she didn't kill any husbands. It was, she didn't. You know, Miro moved in with her up there, and that killed him. You know, that signed his death warrant, sure as it signed mine. All right, this is going on 16 minutes. We'll come back. I'm enjoying this. I hope